Your cruise cabin may not be much in terms of size, but it's your own personal sanctuary on the ship. It's where you'll sleep, relax, bathe, get ready for the day, and unwind after a long day of being out and about. And unlike other places around the ship, it's the one place where you can get away from everybody. But there are some things that you definitely don't know about your room that are fascinating, can make your stay more comfortable, or they are simply nice to know. Something that you likely wouldn't notice about the cabin unless it's pointed out to you: cruise cabins are designed to be extraordinarily low maintenance. Any homeowner knows the pain that comes with keeping your house looking good. Now, imagine a cruise ship with thousands of people and luggage. Within weeks, the place would look like a wreck if it was a normal house. That's why there's no paint in a cruise cabin. Painted surfaces, they get scuffed easily, and paint also has issues with moisture. Instead, the walls and the ceiling, they're actually made of metal, as are the doors. All the surfaces except the carpet and the furniture, they're wipeable. Light fixtures are all low profile or recessed. The entire bathroom in many cases could flood, and it wouldn't be an issue unless the water made its way onto the carpet outside. Next time you're in the room, appreciate the thought that went into making the cabin withstand constant use with hardly any maintenance at all. Walk into your cabin and you may be struck by the fact that, well, it's not that big. Plenty of space for a couple of people, but more than that, and it does make it tight. However, in reality, just about all cabins are made to sleep at least 3 passengers, with some sleeping more. But with only one bed, where does everybody sleep? It is a bit of hide and seek that most people don't realize. First, the bed is designed to sleep 2 people, but then the spots for more passengers, frankly, they're more hidden. On many ships, the cushions for the couch are removed and it becomes a bed. The room steward will put on sheets and blankets in the evening. In other rooms, there might be beds that drop down from the ceiling, but then tuck away to offer more space during the day. Now, I don't want to make light of your cabin. Sure, it's nice. It's just that you may not realize how some other folks on the same exact ship are living during their vacation. There's big money in high-end cabins. While you might pay $2,000 for a balcony room, a suite that's about double that size could go for $10,000. And let me tell you, having toured them, they are insanely nice. Often they have views to die for. They can have literal bedrooms, jacuzzi tubs in the bathroom, and even hot tubs on the balcony. They come with a lot of perks like drink packages, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, and more. But don't feel too bad. Sure, these rooms may be nicer, but they also come with a whopping price tag. You could often sail multiple times on a regular cabin before you reach the price of taking a single cruise in one of these rooms. When you book the cruise, you are asked if you want to have a queen bed or 2 twins. But if you're imagining a crew lugging a mattress in and out of the cabin to meet your wishes, yeah, think again. Cruise ship beds, they're actually 2 beds with a large zipper between the mattresses. A couple sailing together that wants 1 bed in the cabin, the 2 mattresses are put together and zipped up to create 1 bed. Staying with a friend where you don't want to share a bed, then it can unzip and separate, creating 2 spots to sleep. So if you walk into your cabin and the bed isn't set up how you wanted, just let the cabin steward know. They can get it arranged in just a few minutes. There's no arguing that a cruise ship stateroom is pretty cozy in its size. One thing they do very well, however, is they make the most of that space. In particular, there's a lot of storage space. Your room will have a large closet, along with a large desk area with drawers to store clothing. Bathrooms come with plenty of shelves, and there is one other place to store things: under the bed. Ship beds are on a metal frame that sits up about 18 inches from the ground. This is the perfect spot to store an empty suitcase so that it's out of the way and doesn't take up precious space in the closet. One unique feature of cruise ship cabins is pretty handy if you know how to use it. In your cabin, you'll have a number of light switches around the room, usually with most located by the door as you enter. But what you'll find is that there are usually switches by the bed as well. These bedside switches will often control a lamp by the bed, but also give you the ability to turn on more lights without having to get up at all. So you can have the lights on, jump in bed, and turn them off without having to get up again. You can also light up the cabin in the morning without needing to get out from under the covers. I will say this, do yourself a favor though. Test these out before you use them first thing in the morning. I've personally hit the switch trying to get just a little bit of light and been blinded by turning on every light in the cabin. Any cruise you sail will have a television in the room, it's standard fare. Depending on the ship, it can have all sorts of technology integrated, with some offering the chance to review your onboard account, watch movies on demand, see maps of where the ship is located, and a whole lot more. The basic function of being a television, however, well, it can leave a lot to be desired. Cruise ship TVs, no matter the line, they're known for having very limited options. There are usually only a couple of dozen channels available, and most of those seem to be related to the cruise itself, from showing the view from cameras around the ship to promotional channels showcasing destinations. In total, there are often only a handful of traditional TV stations. This includes a couple of news options, an international ESPN feed, and maybe some channels like HGTV and maybe a movie channel or two. If you want something to watch, it's a better idea to download shows before the cruise or stream if you have the Wi-Fi package. Your room is your room for the cruise, but just hours before you arrive and just hours after you leave, someone else is in your place. It is a bit strange to think about that when you walk into your cabin on the first day of your vacation, there was somebody sleeping in that bed just that morning. I'm talking literally hours earlier. Still, that's just like any other hotel or resort, so it does make sense. Of course, everything is cleaned and washed before you settle in, but it's still just something that most people don't think about. Eating and drinking is a major part of any cruise that you take. There's always a spot to grab something to eat, and drinks ranging from coffee in the morning to cocktails at midnight, well, they flow freely. Of course, sometimes you want to get out of the hustle and bustle of the ship and have a cocktail on the balcony or a snack in the cabin. In that case, you should know that it is perfectly acceptable to eat and drink in your room. You might think that this will be discouraged due to the potential for spills, but that's just not the case. In fact, there's even room service available if you don't feel like venturing out. So feel free to drink up or chow down, and you can definitely bring food out of the buffet and into your room. Your cruise cabin, it will have its own small dorm room style fridge. On some lines, this includes a mini bar, and on others, it's just an empty spot to keep things cool. Now, you'll notice that I said cool and not cold. These fridges, they aren't going to freeze anything, and they won't even get most things that cold. They're more just for keeping small items chilled, cooler than room temperature. In fact, there may even be a sign on the box saying as much. Now, if you do need to keep something colder, ask your room steward for some ice. Now, I've got good news that on newer cruise ships, they're getting better about having more plug outlets in the room. This includes many having spots for USB charging where you can charge a phone or a tablet. But if you are sailing an older ship, generally more than 10 or 15 years old, then be prepared for limited outlet space, including in some cases just 1 or 2 spots to plug in all of your electronics. In that case, you'll want to bring an outlet adapter that plugs into one spot and provides multiple outlets for you. Just be sure not to bring one with a surge protector, as those are not allowed on cruise ships due to interfering with the ship's electrical system. This one might be a little bit controversial, but there's no arguing that having your own little private balcony space is nice and well worth the extra cost if sailing a longer cruise. I typically suggest them on trips of longer than 5 days, as the longer trip, it gives you more of an opportunity to enjoy this space. What might surprise you, however, is that most people go on their balcony only a limited amount of time. Take a look at any cruise ship that's coming into or leaving port, which is frankly a great time to be taking in the sights. You'll notice that actually very few balconies are being used compared to the massive number. In my experience, I might go out on the balcony several times a day, but usually only for a few minutes at a time to take in the view or maybe to have a drink. For the vast majority of people, the idea that you'll be spending hours out there, it's just not accurate. It's still nice to have, but it will likely be used way less than you think. Speaking of balconies, anyone that sailed in a cabin with a balcony has made the mistake of creating a wind tunnel effect through their room. Here's the deal, if your balcony door is open, then there might be a gentle breeze and some fresh air coming into the cabin. But when you have the balcony open and then you open the cabin door to the hallway, then the pressure difference creates a jet stream through the cabin. It's nothing that will knock you down, but loose papers or small items, they might get blown around and it can slam doors shut if they aren't propped open. Truth be told, this is likely to happen to you at one point or another during your cruise. Just don't be surprised. One thing you may not know about your cabin is something that, frankly, I'm not 100% sure if it's true or not, but based on my personal experience, I absolutely think it is. Every cabin you sail will have a thermostat allowing you to adjust the temperature in your room. What I found is that on newer ships, you can usually change the thermostat and then you hear the air kick on. On those older ships, however, that does not seem to be the case. I've cranked down the air on older ships only to come into the room in the middle of the day and have it be so unbelievably warm. Other times, I don't mess with the thermostat at all, but it's freezing in the cabin. My impression is that the air is controlled en masse on the older ships, but I do have yet to officially confirm this. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you learned a thing or two about your cruise cabin for the next time that you sail. If you did, I hope that you'll subscribe so you can see we're coming in on 100,000 subscribers. As well, you can check out all the other videos on Cruzely's YouTube channel, and you can also visit us at Cruzely.com for more things on everything cruising. Until next time, happy sailing.